But this is all due to the reckless actions of the opposition groups, because wherever I go, they talk of intimidation. People are crying that they are being intimidated by the opposition elements. The other day I was in Mawokota, and the Honorable Nakawuchi was crying about intimidation by the group belonging to NUP, that they were threatening people that if they don't vote for them, they will kill them. Well, I told Nakawuchi that that will not happen, and I would like to get details of those who are doing that, and we shall deal with them. The other day I was in Rakai, it was the same story. I therefore would like to advise the opposition, especially those who are fond of this, these particular groups, that this will not work, for them especially. Nobody should intimidate the people of Uganda. If you have got a point of view, convince the people. Don't intimidate, either by word or by action. We are not going to tolerate it. So these tragedies like this one are caused by that background of recklessness. I thought I should point out this one before I talk about what I wanted to talk about. This year, 2020, is coming to an end. It has been a year of testing countries, not only Uganda, but all countries of the world. Here in Uganda, we had a number of tests, of challenges, to see whether we can manage or not. We started with the floods. The waters of the lakes and the rivers rose up to record levels. In May, the level of the water in Lake Victoria reached 13.49 meters. This is the highest ever in all the recorded history of Uganda. Ever since the British came here and started keeping records, the previous highest level had been in 1964, when the lake was at 13.41 meters. But this time, it went to 13.49. Even today, before I came here, I checked with the engineer who deals with water. He's saying that the water is still at 13.22 meters. This is incredible. It has been at that high level now for almost a year. And yet, at Jinja, they have been releasing water. At one time, they went up to 2,400 cubic meters of water per second. The normal release at Jinja is normally 800 cubic meters per second. But this time, they had to go 2,400 cubic meters per second to make sure that the water in the lake does not swallow the countryside around. Even today, they are still releasing water at 2,000 cubic meters per second, and this has been going on for almost 8 months now. So you can imagine what would have happened if we didn't have this capacity of releasing water at Jinja. In 1964, when they had those floods, the maximum they could release at Jinja was 1,300 cubic meters per second. But this time, we are able to go up to 3,000 cubic meters per second. That's how we were able to control these floods. So challenge number one were the floods. People were worried that the water could destroy the power stations along the Nile. Then we had the floating islands caused by the high water. Again, relying on our internal means, we were able to scoop out all the floating islands along the Nile. That was challenge number two. Then we had the landslides in the mountain areas. Again, we dealt with those. Then we had the locusts in Karamoja. Because the system in Africa and Arabia has broken down, in the past, the locusts were handled in Yemen and along the Red Sea in Somalia, in Eritrea. However, all these countries, many of these countries are in crisis now. So the locusts are not handled there because these are desert locusts which lay eggs in the sands of the Red Sea, and then when the eggs, when they hatch, the locusts fly out. In the past, they used to kill